What's up you guys and welcome back. I'm FPL Nymphria and this is my FPL Double Game Week 25 review and Game Week 26 preview video. Well, unfortunately I'm back to my red arrow ways after that double. Anyone else with me in hating this game week? Anyway, let's take a look at what happened. Despite Fabianski being in this team, I did actually start Button, in the hope like last week that he might get a start over Ryan. I think it's safe to say that Button has had his time, and no matter how much I try, I don't think Houghton is going to play him again in the Premier League with his number one back, especially as Ryan got a clean sheet for Brighton this game week and Button conceded in the FA Cup. Meaning I am stuck with the not so fab, at least until game week 27 is over, as I have other transfers to make that I'll touch upon later. But as you can see, thankfully Fabianski at least started, given he was carrying an injury and was a doubt, and he did manage a few extra saves against Liverpool to get me 3 points. So I'm not complaining, this week I'm just happy for the points, especially as I could have been without a keeper. The game week didn't start badly in terms of my defence. Both Palace and Wolves were in the Saturday 3 o'clock games and Wan managed to get a clean sheet for 5 points, but no bonus points, which is unusual for him. That might have been owing to his yellow card though. And the Doherty we all know and love was back with an assist to match Obi-Wan's 5 points. Doherty also smashed it on Tuesday evening against Shrewsbury Town, where he managed 2 goals and an assist. Let's hope that means he's back to his attacking ways. We'd sure like to see some more of that in the Premier League, please Doherty. We've definitely missed it. Lastly, Robson was a bit of a damp squid after the others doing so well. Just the 2 points from him. Is anyone else getting a little nervous about this Liverpool defence now? Have these injuries made them unstable at the back? Either way, with Bournemouth up next and them not blanking in 27, even if it is against Man United, I think we have to hold and then reassess. We just have to hope if they are less likely to keep a clean sheet, that hopefully Robson can find some attacking form again. Robbo, just have a word with Doherty. He'll show you how it's done. Moving into midfield, an area I'd least like to talk about this week, but I will, just for you guys, because I know how much my misery helps people. So before crying into my microphone, let's talk about the positives, and that has to be Pogba. He got me 7 points from his assist, clean sheet, minutes played and 1 bonus point. I very nearly sold him for Sané or Son, given his flagged injury this game week. I mean, the Son one wouldn't have been so bad, but the Sané one certainly would have been, and I know I would have wanted him back anyway, so thank goodness I kept him. Right, now on to the others. I mean, where do I start? Salah not returning for 2 game weeks in a row. I'm not overly concerned about this yet, but it hasn't been helpful to me, that's for sure. I decided to stick with Richarlison, and I'm not even sure why I did. He might have had a double game week, but despite that, he couldn't manage a thing against Wolves, and it didn't get much better against City, where he only played a portion of the match, bringing me in just 3 points over 2 games. What has happened to Everton? We had many FPL assets at one point there, now there's hardly anyone to consider from Everton. Lastly, you'll see I have Sané in my team. Oh my, absolutely sickening. I sold Fraser for Sané, and I'd have been better keeping Fraser to some extent, as they got the same amount of points. Now, you might say, well, you did the right thing there. Sané with a double and City chasing the title. As you know, I felt I've needed to bolster my midfield for weeks now, and I felt this was the way, and that players like Sané had been the ones killing my rank for most of the previous weeks. So I felt comfortable making this switch, even though Fraser had Cardiff. But it wasn't getting Sané necessarily that caused the biggest issue this game week. It was what it did to my captain choice that in lies the problem. As you can tell when you look at my front three, as you can see I kept Agueroooo ahead of the double. Of course I did. I mean, I love the man. Why wouldn't I? But getting Sané completely took my focus away from captaining Agueroooo. I spent so much of the midweek debating if to get Son, will Pogba be fit, how do I squeeze Sané in, that it meant I left deciding my captaincy until really late. And then I panicked. And when I panic, I tend to head to Twitter for inspiration. And my whole entire timeline seemed to be filled with Sané owners, captainers and triple captainers. Lots of those being very respectable people in the community, people I look up to. And with not a second thought in my head, I placed the armband on Leroy, hearing all the cries of him being a midfielder and therefore more points over a forward Greenwood and so on. Now it's at this point I'd like to say that Twitter is such a microcosm of the FPL community. If I had done what I always do of taking a second to just check some other sites I usually look at to see what other players are considering doing in the captaincy polls, I'd have seen that Salah and Aguero were far more popular captaincy choices. That coupled with the fact that I very rarely go against Aguero at all unless it's for Salah, and I especially don't go against Aguero in a double game week, especially not with those fixtures. I'd be sat here now with the armband on Aguero and maybe even have triple captained him. So please, if you can help it, really do take a moment in a busy fixture schedule like this to consider your captaincy choice. It sounds the simplest thing to say, but when there's so many transfers to think about, it could leave you placing your armband or what seems the most popular choice at the time. And I'm not saying that's not a good thing necessarily. I mean, there are some really great people on Twitter who know exactly what they're doing. But if it goes against what you would have done, if you would have taken the time to think about it yourself, and it goes wrong, it's your team and it's definitely you that has to live with it. So please, just take a moment to consider it. With that rant over, I was more than happy with the perfect goal from United with both my lads involved. Nice to see Rashford back again with a goal. He had 3 shots on target and could have got more points given he had another 2 off target. And for this week, I was more than happy with the Aubameyang to Jimenez switch, given Jimenez got me 9 points from a goal, minutes and bonus points. He also missed a big chance and had 21 accurate passes, so I'm happy to have welcomed him back to my team. Meaning in all of that madness, I got a total of 64 points this game week, 1 less than the average, on a red arrow, and I'm down to 210,974 in the overall rankings. I was also asked last week if I could include my team value in my video, and I'm always happy to take suggestions. So my squad value as of game week 25 ahead of game week 26 is 104.4 with 1.3 in the bank. And just to mention, on my bench, Holebas got me his 6 points because, you know, he's on my bench. I'm a little worried to see Punchin dropped. That's not going to help him the blank game weeks. And Digne, well, Digne is just frustrating on so many levels. More about that later. In summary, I lost so many points by not captaining Aguero. I also lost lots by Sané just even playing in the second match, given Aguero was my vice-captain, and Holebas would have come in off the bench. It's going to be a tough week to pick myself back up, but here goes. Hopefully you guys can help me out. And with our first double game week over, here's my thoughts for game week 26. I had initially planned when getting Sané in that he would be my City asset moving forward, and so therefore would sit on my bench in blank game week 27. However, given last night and with only feedback on media outlets to go on, he didn't sound his best, and with Mendy close to being back to further complicate Pep Roulette, I'm really not sure on keeping in the short term now. It took all my power last night not to rage transfer him out after the Everton match, but I checked and I could afford a drop. And, as I could, I took the night to forget about it and re-looked at it again this morning. And in the cold light of day, I still don't think I want to keep, especially with Chelsea and a blank up next, and with no guarantee that he actually plays. I think I'd rather move him to Son, a player I tried desperately to fit in my team last game week. That transfer is likely to happen later on today. I think it's only good news for Sonny owners that Kane is close to a return, and I really want Sonny in my team. Then that leaves me with no transfers and a few other issues. Richarlison, Digne and Aguero, who all blank in game week 27. The plan was to -4 for Alba this week on the hokey cokey, but given Aguero's hat-trick and the fact that he's at home, I'm wondering if I should use the -4 to move on one of the others instead this week. I was 0.4 off doing Richarlison to Mane. I'm not chuffed on Mane's 27 fixture against United, but it's a good price point to have sat in my midfield to switch to anyone afterwards. However, if I wanted Mane, the only way to get that extra money would be to downgrade Digne to, say, a 4.5, 4.6 defender from, say, Newcastle maybe. But to do all of that this week, I'm looking at a -8, and I'm really not sure about that. What do you guys think? Put me a comment below. I could do the simple Aubameyang Kung switch, or I could find an alternative to Mane that doesn't mean needing the extra money. I'm just not sure. This -4 will go down to the wire. However, what's different about this game week is that I do feel confident that I'll be captaining Salah, despite him blanking the last 2 game weeks. I missed his haul against Bournemouth last time out, so I'm keeping everything crossed that he can repeat that this weekend for me. And that's it, you guys. I'll let you guys know what I decided via my usual social media channels, and you can catch how I got on in my next video. As always, feel free to check out my sponsors fantasyfootballfix.com, and please support me by liking and subscribing. Until next time, Nymphria out.